All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. I believe this is our first ever video. My name is Jackson. Quick little background. I cover the NBA, and the Cavaliers, making videos for the Cleveland Cavaliers last season was one of the most fun things. Watching them, one of the most fun things about the entire season. So we decided, my boy Ryan and I decided to make our own Cleveland sports channel. Today we're going to be kicking the channel off with a video on Collin, Sexton, because, you know, the Cavs as a whole, I'm going to be making a video later today on the Cavs as a whole. I think that, first off, what the Cavaliers were able to do last season, getting that A seed, making the play-in tournament, given what the way the media, the way everyone just kind of already wrote the book, they already finished the book on the Cavaliers for last season before it even started. Like, yeah, they're in the right direction. You got an absolute stud in Evan Mobley. You have Jared Allen. Like, you got DG, the PG. You have some nice pieces. They're not quite there yet, so, you know, we're going to fill them in at, like, maybe the 12th seed in the Eastern Conference. Well, what happened? They played a lot better than that, right? They technically, I think the play-in tournament's the playoffs, right? They technically made the playoffs. I'm not a huge fan of the play-in tournament, but it was cool watching the Cavs. What ended up being really the kicker it was all the injuries. Specifically to me, what really stands out was the Ricky Rubio injury, because Rubio was doing things for the Cavaliers that, I mean, you couldn't even, like, vocalize. Like, it was almost one thing. Like, I can sit here and tell you Ricky Rubio had a crazy-ass positive impact on the Cavs last year. But that can only do so much. Unless you were watching the Cavs game, so hopefully this video hits Cavs Nation and hits Cavs fans so you guys can kind of back this statement up. I guess that's the purpose of this channel, Cleveland Sports. Hopefully you get my gist. What Ricky Rubio did for the Cavs last season, you know, outside of his obvious talent and his leadership, was, I mean, he was really just kind of like almost a glue guy. I mean, he gave that bench such a freaking jolt, man. And he started some games, and he could finish games. Like, Rubio did literally everything. And I feel like genuinely that's how his career's been. He's just been super underrated. He's just been super low-key his entire career. So, you have Rubio back. You got Rubio back. Now, Collin Sexton, here's the latest rumor. He has, quote-unquote, no market in free agency, and Cleveland's hopeful for a new contract. I think Sexton is looking for, he's looking for at least $20 a year. I'd pay him probably flat $20 a season. But here's what we have, according to Chris Fedor of Cleveland.com. The Cleveland Cavaliers are still hopeful and optimistic they can agree to a new deal with restricted free agent Collin Sexton. Per that report, potential Sexton suitors continue to dwindle, with few cap space teams capable of giving him the lucrative offer he covets, and one the Cavs wouldn't want to match. I feel like there were some big-ass words in there. They weren't that big. Quote unquote, he has no market, a league executive told Folder. So, not shocking. It really isn't shocking. I don't know if a lot of you guys have noticed this, but with the new CBA coming into agreement next season, the thing with Cleveland is, or sorry, not Cleveland, with other teams, and why, you know, Sexton isn't getting too much acknowledgement is simply because of the fact that money is about to skyrocket, guys. It's going to be very similar to 2016, where players are handed these lucrative deals. Mozgov, 4 years, 60. Delhi, 4 years, 80. Anderson, 4 years, 80. Shumpert, 4 years, 80. There's just going to be some weird, crazy, lucrative deals. And so a lot of teams are either going all in, as we've seen with the Minnesota Timberwolves, or they are completely throwing in the towel and trying to take advantage of this next draft class and all the free agents next season, i.e. San Antonio Spurs. So this doesn't surprise me in the slightest that Sexton isn't getting much interest, and especially now that it's July 7th at the time of this recording, there's very little teams with the cap space. I don't even know what team could theoretically sign Sexton straight up because they have that money in their back pocket. Not many teams could do that. I was reading, or actually, I think I was listening to something earlier today. It was an article or it was a video, and I thought they brought up a phenomenal point. First off, Karis LeVert, I think, is extremely important to the success of the Cleveland Cavaliers. With Rubio now being the backup point guard, I want Sexton, who is a very talented basketball player, I want him at this point to return to the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he only played 11 games for him last year, played a little less than 30 a night. I want to see the same minutes, and I want Sexton to just do his thing. Where he isn't, I don't want to say forced to distribute, forced to play make for his teammates, but that's why you have Rubio. So Karis LeVert, Collin, Sexton, if they're coming off the bench, I don't know how that starting lineup's going to look next year. I'm still very, very hopeful for Isaac Okoro, but they might throw in LeVert at the 2. I'm not quite sure. Sexton might play the 2. Still not quite sure. I want Sexton to be just a relentless scorer, because to me that is what he exactly excels at. I want to look back to a season 2 years ago, the first year where he wasn't given full point guard roles and duties. 24.3 points per game. Actually had a career high in assists at 4.5. So he can pass. We all know that. He's a career 38% three-point shooter. He shot 37% from downtown that year. And he also had a very high 18.4 field goals attempt per game, which always kind of blows my mind that he averaged that amount. But for a 48% clip, which is also his career high. So 2 years ago, Sexton was that dude. And Cavs, I don't have to tell Cavs fans this. He was set up. He started very struggling. He couldn't make many shots. He couldn't make a single 3 to save his life. He was turning the ball over at a high clip, about 3 a night. Only averaged, 16 points per game last season in the 11 that he played in. So maybe he does start. Maybe he does start, because I think actually the Cavaliers, especially the bodies they got down below in the paint, the new addition, or not new anymore, of Lauri Markkanen, I do think that helps relieve Sexton of defensive responsibilities. I'm just so hopeful. I'm just so high on Isaac Okoro. I'm just so high on Okoro, man. But I want Sexton to be almost like a specialist, where he's just freaking gas on pedal, foot on neck, just stomping it down, scoring 25 a night. I mean, that's being high about it. But putting up a baggie, I'd take 16 a night. I mean, that was his worst in his career by a large margin. Actually, not that large. He scored about 17 his rookie season. So by about a point of a margin. But hopefully you just get the gist, man. This is my first cast video in a while. So I apologize if it was pretty freaking raw. But that's it for today. I'm actually about to go make a Cavs video on my main channel. And that's really it. So hit the like button, hit that sub button. I'll catch you cats later. Peace. Actually, that's not the end. Go ahead, drop a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, I want you to, you could hate this video. Go ahead, drop a comment down below regardless if you are so inclined on your thoughts on Collin Sexton for this upcoming season. That is it for today. Peace.